Okay, great. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm gonna go through this very briefly because I know that there's a lot information out there about how to build new clubs, about how to get it done. Everyone does it differently. But today I'm gonna share some best practices, some guides I put together, and a great way, even if you're building a club, to build new membership. Wrong screen to share. One moment. Here we go. I think you can see my screen, correct, Heather?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, you can see this. Good. We're good to go. So I pulled this new club roadmap for a reason. This is a great visualization to help me explain what the roles are in building a club, what the process looks like, and the roadmap to success. So all new clubs start with the interests. Whether it's I have an idea for a special club. I want a club all about Harry Potter. Or it's my company needs a club because we need to learn how to give better presentations at work. It all starts with the idea. Now, sometimes you'll go into a demo or a speechcraft, or they're already working on building membership when they come, and we just show them how to hold a meeting and how to build membership. Then they will submit their charter fee of $125. This actually goes with form number 1, which we'll go into later. Normally, in these first 3 steps, you will already have a sponsor assigned, at least on my end. Because I feel like the sponsor is critical in helping newer people who aren't Toastmasters learn how to recruit, learn how to communicate the value, and learn how to build the membership. At the same time, each club is entitled to 2 sponsors and 2 mentors. So if, one is a seasoned Toastmaster working on helping them build the club and the other is one of the new members who are really putting in the effort, both of them could be sponsors of the club. Now, I'm going to correct a misinformation here. Sponsors are not always the ones who pay for the club. Even though that it could be part of their role, they're not always the one who submits the charter fee or things like that. A sponsor is actually the one who works with the club and helps them build the club from start to finish. And the reason I bring this up is because many people think that sponsorship is like, I paid for the club and then I'm done. No, you're supposed to help push them to that charter point. Now, this covers formation. What is their culture going to be like? Are they more formal or are they more friendly? Are they going to give their club like special role names, as we've seen in some specialty clubs? All these little intricacies should be well thought out ahead of time, so that later when you're recruiting members or getting new members, you can clearly tell them how the club is going to operate, read them in. They won't be as confused if you're not confused. Next, you're going to work on membership and leadership recruitment. These are the 2 hardest things when forming a club, especially if the club's not corporate and paying for it. So that this part is the most difficult at times. However, I've told some sponsors recently, if you have a corporate or an educational institution who is willing to pay for the members, and someone asks you, well, how do I recruit? You literally tell them, hey, do you want to get these skills for free? It's really great to be able to have that, but you also have to know how to sell Toastmasters. Now, do you need to know this like right away? No. But what you need to have under your belt is, why did I join and why do I stay? That is going to personally help you connect with new members. They're going to be like, well, what makes you be a member? Or why are you doing all of this? And so you should be able to answer those questions. The second thing that every club member in this club needs to have is what is the value and what makes us different than every other club out there. If they can't answer a simple question of why should I join this club? Or I was reached out to 3 clubs. What makes, like, what would draw me here first? The club really needs to work on that. That is the foundation of, recruitment. It is the foundation of PR. It's the foundation of whatever member tells potential members. So the entire club needs to know that. Then you introduce them the pathways. Of course, at this point in this section right here, the pathways and the charter ceremony, normally this happens around charter time. Now, the goal here is to get the club to charter ready within 8 weeks. Oh, I get like a lot of shocked faces on that one. 8 weeks. Why? Whenever you have the interest and whenever you start working with the club, they're all excited. They're all so freaking happy to become members. They're ready to go. They're pushing. But over time, as with anything, that new club, feeling, the celebration, that excitement wears off. By the time it wears off, we need to create a solid enough foundation to keep it going. So it's a highly critical thing. The other thing is that when it comes to recruitment, if you have a club idea for, like, say you want a project manager club in your area, and you're like, okay, there's a need. I think there's a need. So I'm going to try to put this club together. If I've sat there for 8 weeks trying to recruit people in the project management field, and no one is, like, I only have 5 members that have signed up in 8 weeks, that is an indicative sign that there's not as much interest in that area as you originally believed. What I do want you to know, though, is that is okay. You do not have to give up. Rethink it. You obviously have the passion to share Toastmasters with everyone. So rethink about how you could possibly do that in other areas. Or, take a little bit of perspective and say, I've done it in my area, but, like, what if I formed a hybrid or online club? Or what are people needing? It always starts with a need or a missing gap. So once you have that, it's really, like, it shows whenever you can get 20 members in 8 weeks that was actually a need in the market. And then, so yeah, you have 8 weeks. The other really great thing about putting a charter goal date is that you don't procrastinate as much. And I will say I am guilty of this, highly guilty of this. I once said that I would charter a club and, it's going to take like 6 months. I'm going to do it in a couple months. What happened? It didn't get chartered because I kept putting it off. However, if, I'm working and I have 2 great co-extension chairs for District 100, that they will sit there with whoever's the sponsor and whoever's the new, like, building the club and say, okay, let's get you a charter date goal. And they normally set it like 6 to 8 weeks ahead. And then what happens is, I can say, I have 8 weeks to build membership. And in my mind, that may seem like a long time because I'm a procrastinator. But on the other end is you also have them reaching out to you saying, okay, how are you doing? Where are you at? Do you need any help? Like periodic check-ins and being held accountable. Accountability doesn't have to be scary. It just helps keep you on track. So, once we get to that goal of chartering as a sponsor, you're done. The president sends an email to International after the club charters, you get your sponsor credit. But what comes after chartering? Like, do these members, especially if they're brand new, I'm not going to say an advanced club here, but brand new, do they know how to be a member? Or like these new 7 officers, do they know how to be club officers? Heck no. If you joined and you knew how to do everything in Toastmasters, I would question whether like where you got your information, because you're not going to know everything on how to manage it. And that's actually where the club mentor kicks in. Now, club mentorship is 6 months after charter. So for the first 6 months, they have someone dedicated to them helping them. This person normally is an experienced Toastmaster, because they need to know how to operate Club Central. They need to know how to navigate pathways. They need to know the officer roles and how to help officers complete their roles. Now, here's a great question I got the other day that apparently some people didn't know. Yes, you can be a sponsor and a mentor at the same club. If you spent a lot of effort in building the relationships through that sponsorship journey, you got to know the members, you got to know the new officers, and you're like, I really enjoy this club. I think I really want to help them. Be the club mentor for the next 6 months. That helps in so many ways. One, they already know you, you already have a relationship with them. They're going to have more trust in you than a brand new person. Two, you know what needs to happen. You help get them there. Continue celebrating with them and continue helping them to succeed. Over these next 6 months, you're going to teach them, how to track DCP, how to look at the club dashboard and see how they're doing and how they can align that to their goals. You're going to help them develop a club success plan. You're going to, and this is the key thing I think a lot of clubs forget. You still have to recruit like you're trying to charter the club. Because if you lose your recruiting, your club may dwindle, it may fall, or what happens is you end up losing 5 members because not everyone renews, but you're not bringing in any new members and the club starts bleeding. So the mentor can really help them create a way to continuously recruit. And that's highly critical. As I said earlier, you're going to help them with pathways. That is going to be big for them. They need to learn how to submit projects, get projects done. This is where you're going to help them meet that sustainability mark, where they can continue being a club for the next 10 to 30 to 40 years. We have clubs still to this day that are almost 100 years old because they chartered back then when Toastmasters was first founded. And why? Because they know they need to keep recruiting. They need to keep doing this. They need to keep doing that. So the club mentor really helps them establish that kind of mindset from the beginning. After you get this, like I said, and it's in here twice, which is funny, ongoing recruitment and retention. That I can't say how big that is, because we all know there's a constant turnover. There's like a 2-year, 18-month turnover on membership. So clubs need to bring in 4 to 8 members every year. That's scary, but it's totally possible. And I'll show you in one of my other guides how it can be done using a simple system. Then you're going to take them beyond the club. You are going to have the chance as a mentor to work with them directly. And also you get to see how these club officers, do and how well they are and their strengths and weaknesses. You also get the opportunity to introduce them to other things outside their club, like the conference, the convention, the district events, the district leadership roles. If some of them would like to be in leadership of their work, maybe they are interested. You can also help them learn how to track performance with their DCP progress checks. And then finally, at the end of this 6 months, if you haven't joined yet, you hand it off to the area director, because effectively, once your mentorship journey is complete, the area director will step into that role and help them succeed then on. Now, at that point, of course, the president needs to send an email saying this person completed their role. That's simple. In all, if you decided to take the journey from start to finish, it would take you 8 months. That's not bad. And one thing I think that a lot of people don't understand, or they think it's a lot of work, they don't understand how fulfilling this journey is. You and I want you to think of it from a perspective of, oh, I just chartered, like, I want you to think this to yourself. I just chartered a club. I personally helped bring in 17 or more brand new members of Toastmasters. That should make you feel amazing. You have literally spread the word and help more people achieve their goals and get the training they need. You are literally adding value to the world around you. That right there is one of the astounding things that can happen if you do this. Now, we're going to flip into the second part of building new clubs, is the club paperwork, which of course everyone seems to think is so confusing. We created a guide to help you through it. So the form number 1, because there are 7 forms in total, is the application to actually organize the club. This is the first form you're going to send to international. It's going to say, we'd like to form a club, normally accompanied with the $125 fee. And that gives you the right to start chartering the club. Form number 2, if you didn't submit your charter fee the first time, you can submit it here as well. It's your it's your club details. It details like the name of your club, and it also says how you're going to pay, things like that. Form number 3, or as I like to call it, Excel sheet number 3, is the charter membership applications. Now, depending on the style of the club, you will want to get a membership application for every person. However, when it comes time to submitting these to international, do you want to send 20 membership applications to international or 1 Excel sheet to international? International actually, in their club membership, in their club formation, zip folder, I call it, like I say, the form packet. They actually include an Excel sheet that lets you list out each person, every detail information in one place that you can send to them, and it's much cleaner. I highly, highly, highly suggest using that to help track, because it also tells you how many members you have. After Form 3, and I want to also let you know, Form 3 is not always the third thing being submitted. It can also be one of the last things you submit, because you may be waiting on one last member, but everything else got submitted. So remember that sometimes you'll submit Form 3 towards the end. Form number 4 is the club officer sheet. This is going to be who your new club officers are. You need to have at least 3. You need to have a president, a secretary, and a treasurer, at the very least. However, I highly suggest, especially if they're a brand new club, all 7 roles are filled. Do not leave one blank. If in the event like I just had with the corporate club we chartered, the treasurer technically can't do the treasury because the company handles that, what you do is you put someone in name only. And it could be, you dual role it. So it could be the VP of membership that becomes also the VP of treasury. That, some corporations have those rules where only the company can pay things on behalf of the company. But make sure all the officer roles are filled, because 2 things. It helps spread the burden of running the club. You don't want too much double dipping. If I'm VP PR and president, I can tell you, I'm gonna burn myself out and not want to do it anymore. But if I'm president and we have someone else who's VPPR and they just maybe need some support, it's much easier that way. The second reason is whenever it comes time for training, the club can only hit 7 officers trained if there's 7 officers. So make sure that, all 7 roles are filled, that everyone's like actively participating. Number 5, that's your club information. Club information is when are you meeting? Where are you meeting? Are you online, hybrid, or in person? All those details, the contact information, everything goes in that form. Normally, this is what they use to put on the website. 6A is very basic. It is literally, here's our club constitution, you have to sign it. Boom. 6B, however, is the addendum of the club options. So part of the club constitution has options for clubs. Clubs can say, well, we want to charge a membership due fee of $5 per 6 months or $10 a year. The club has the opportunity to add all of that in 6B. Finally, like if you are very confident that you know how to fill these forms out, you can send them off to new clubs at Toastmasters. However, what I advise, I always have the co-extension chairs of District 100 review all the forms before they're sent in. Now, is that about having control? No. That part is about making sure that each piece is filled in, because we've been working with international so long, we already know they're going to send the form back for certain things. Like, oh my God, we need this, we need that, this wasn't filled in. So it's always great to have a second set of eyes reviewing those forms for you, making sure everything's complete. After that, we hit the celebration part. We get to have fun. You are a new club and you help form this new club. We get to have a charter ceremony and celebrate. Finally, I'm going to cover something, and I can put this in the chat after. I'm going to go through this very, very, very briefly. We put together an open house blueprint to help clubs learn how to put on events in their club. You're going to ask, what does this have to do with starting a new club? Great question. This right here can be, reformatted or rethunk into, we are hosting a launch event. We are hosting a big event where we're trying to recruit all the members we need. We're going to have food, snacks, or if you're on Zoom, you're going to have everyone bring a snack that they love and share it. This is going to be a great way to promote your club. And hint here for the mentors, once your club charters, you should probably be having one of these at least every quarter. And really blow it up and make it big. Theme it out. Like post it on the meetup, post it on Eventbrite, post it on Facebook, get it out there. Theme it as well. Everyone loves themes. I don't know why. It's Halloween as well. Like you could totally make up a costume party. Boom. That's something you can even do on Zoom. So the great thing about this blueprint, it has the whys, why we do a open house or an event for the club. Like I said, once a quarter is probably really good. If you can do more than that, that's freaking amazing. I'm going to tell you why this is so important. I've seen clubs who do one of these every single month. They like every meeting's normal meeting, but once a month they blow it out. They have a really big meeting. They had 15 new members by the end of the year just from hosting open houses. They didn't call them open houses, they called them special events, like costume party, like public contest, like you could do like a invitation speech contest for the public. You don't have to like give awards, they're not official, but it's fun. Things like that can really help build membership and get people interested. Then, there's all of these points. Now, the text is kind of small because I zoomed out, but For each type of club, we've put in tips and tricks on how to get this event to be the best it can be. Like I said, I'm going to post this in the chat. I only wanted to cover that briefly.